A very good afternoon, Your Excellency, Mr. Jawad Ashraf, High Commissioner of India to Singapore, Saurabh Maestro, Ustad Amjad Ali Khan and family, Ambassador Gopinath Pillai, Chairman of the Institute of South Asian Studies at the National University of Singapore, and Ambassador at Large, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Singapore. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome. Welcome to this afternoon's ISAS book launch on Master on Masters, written by Master Ustad Amjad Ali Khan. And it's my pleasure now to invite Ambassador Gopinath Pillai to deliver his welcome remarks. Ambassador, please.
Your Excellency, Mr. Jawad Ashraf, India's High Commissioner to Singapore, Ustad Amjad Ali Khan, and his family, very distinguished and very talented family, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to all of you for attending this launch of this book. While ISAS is known for deep research in geopolitics, in economics, and other indicators of political activities, it is not often that we foray into culture. Last week, we launched a book on the Parsis, the first time that we had a book on Singapore Parsis, and one of the writers is here today. We have published an encyclopedia of Sri Lankan diaspora. We have had a poetry reading of Bangladesh workers. You would not think that this is possible, that people who work long hours, 8 to 10 hours in the hot sun, doing construction work, will find time at the end of the day to sit down and pen some nice words, sweet sounding poetry. And that was that. We had more than 200 people attending, and many people were emotional because the messages were very sad. We also had a literary salon with distinguished speakers, writers from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. So we are slowly getting into the arena of culture because we feel that our mission is not complete unless we cannot devote all our time to it, but we can devote some extra time for it, and that's why we are here. We are very blessed to be able to launch this book by Ustad Amjad Ali Khan. His reputation is well known, and I think this is the first time that we are doing this of a music, a person who's involved in music. In fact, there are not many books written by musicians, as Ustad himself says in the foreword. Books of music are written by researchers, people who specialize in the cultural aspects, but in a different sort of, they're not practitioners. And this is probably one of the few books where it's written by a practitioner. And therefore, it is even more delightful. And I'm sure most of you will find this book very interesting. It covers the life of 12 of iconic people in India, in the field of music in India. And this covers people like Ghulam Ali Khan, M.S. Subbalakshmi, Bismillah Khan, Ravi Shankar, Kishan Maharaj, and several others. It is a fantastic book from a personal point of view, his own knowledge of it, how they lived, how they this thing. One overarching message in this book is that your success as a musician does not come by magic. There is no mantra magic. That's a message that Ustad gives, because he says it depends on your dedication, your hard work, your discipline, your certain degree of spirituality. All this contribute to the success of a musician. He becomes a noted musician, not because he wants the limelight, but the music that he produces gives him that ability to capture the hearts of people. If he were just trying to get public profile by making popular music, this is not the result. This is the result of very, very hard work, and I think it is something that is worth listening. I want to, at this stage, thank the High Commissioner for taking time off from this very busy schedule. High Commissioner is a very articulate, thoughtful, and a very pleasant to hear speaker. Krishna Kumar was just telling me that at the Gita Jayanti, he spoke, and after his speech, there was a 10-minute ovation because he put the scholars of religion almost to shame. That was not his purpose, but his learning, his erudition came up. And every time I've seen him with several venues, and he spoke extremely well, and I am very happy that he's joined. We have just been joined by Mr. Nasrullah Khan, the High Commissioner of Pakistan, another very good friend of ISAS. I have only one regret that I want to express, and that is tomorrow's concert by Ustad. Unfortunately, my duty takes me out of Singapore, and I will not be here. But I wish him all success. And today, I hope you get his book, you read his book, understand it, because when you go for the concert, it is that much more meaningful if you have read the book. I got the book yesterday, but I managed to read the foreword, and then some of the sketches that he had given to the 12 people that he written. I congratulate him for the book, and we hope it will be a great success, and we look forward to a very nice concert tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador Pillai. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure now to invite His Excellency, High Commissioner of India to Singapore, Mr. Jawad Ashraf, to deliver his address. Your Excellency, please.
Ambassador Pillai has certainly set you up for some disappointment today. Ustad Ali Khan, his absolutely wonderful and charming wife and partner, Subhalakshmi ji, his two extremely talented and prodigious young sons, Amal and Ayan, his daughter-in-law, and two grandchildren who I'm sure are going to be the great flag bearers of an extremely venerated Gharana. Welcome to all of you. Ambassador Gopinath Pillai, I start saying something about you, the audience is going to say this is all pre-arranged, but I must say that there is none here in Singapore who has borne the diverse dimensions of Singapore-India relationship with such aplomb as you have. And tomorrow you're on a mission that is going to be iconic in India-Singapore relations, and he spearheaded the effort of Singapore to build the new capital city of Andhra Pradesh. So congratulations to you in anticipation for a magnificent effort. Ustadji, your visit to Singapore and your presence among us this weekend has added a sheen to this midsummer weekend in Singapore. So thank you for being with us, and we all look forward with great anticipation and excitement to your performance, to your recital tomorrow. Ustadji has written that everyone is born with sound and rhythm. Now, I can say that I'm born with sound, maybe with fury too, and certainly with love for music, but I can't say that I'm born with a sense of melody or rhythm. Or maybe I just miss being your disciple or Shishya. So it is, but it is really something that takes me back to the time when I was just starting my diplomatic journey and he was already a global icon. Why I'm starting there is because if I were to speak about his music, it would be like bringing flowers to a garden. There is none more qualified to speak about it, or not less qualified to speak about it than me. But I will speak to you about him as a person, as a human being. So when I first met him, it was 1993, and that just somehow dates us also. I had just started on our diplomatic journey. He was already, as I said, a global icon, and the venue was Frankfurt. He was to perform in Frankfurt Cathedral, the most iconic venue in Frankfurt, to a packed audience. And before that, he did two things. One, at a lunch, he explained to me patiently, a young, ignorant diplomat, the intricacies of classical music in its most simple manner. He spoke and he exuded extraordinary warmth and humility. It was unbelievable that I was sitting across the table in a restaurant with a person who had achieved everything that a musician would want to achieve, and was speaking to me with the patience of a genuine teacher, someone who wanted to share with someone else the joy and beauty of music. Later on in the evening at the concert hall, he asked me, he says, "Tell me where my wife will be sitting." And I said, "Why?" He said, "I want to see her before I strike my first note." That is that, ladies and gentlemen, is the personality you have with him. Now, if you speak about his lineage, you speak about his achievements, the man has already got every award you could think of. The Padma Vibhushan. He comes from a family that has literally given the world the instrument of sarod. His father, Hafiz Ali Khan, an extraordinary musician in his own way. So he represents the finest of that Gwalior. But he has done something else in music, we can all speak about that. He is a great respecter of tradition, but not of convention. He is a great believer in integrity of music, in the form that he's born with, but not in simply playing the tunes the way it was. He has explored music taken it to frontiers that has not been touched before. He has made sarod into a completely new instrument, given it an expression that we have not heard before. He has broken boundaries on which sarod was somehow seen to be, and it was once compared to sitar or any other instrument. That is the real achievement. When he has been able to take his music without diluting its content, its form, its character, its spiritual quality to the ordinary person. When a man or a woman in the streets of New York or Los Angeles or in Germany or Europe or East Asia, Japan, can appreciate it in the same way without his trying to somehow dabble with its form or trying to change it in a way that pleases it. That's the sign of a genius. But it's also a sign of a person who has the humility to respect his audience, to understand that I have to communicate with that person to an audience at 5 a.m. in the morning in Stuttgart, and to say that I can elevate you to a different plane with a sound that you may not be familiar with, but the music that is universal to a human mind. That is the kind of a person he is. And then he has started from the days of RPM 78. We all remember that. But he's equally familiar with the world of music streaming and iPods. That is the transition that he's always able to make. He's also a person who has actually risen beyond the pursuit of his own musical excellence to think of music in a larger context, to give back to music what it has given him. And therefore you have Sarod Khan, a shrine to musicians, a temple of music, a museum of our legacy. And this is something he does with nothing but pure passion. But what I saw, and this is what takes me back to 1993, and I wanted to come back to it, is that he spoke about every form of music with the same respect. It wasn't as though, oh, I'm a classical musician, and therefore someone who sings a popular song is any less a musician. Because that is a person who has genuine respect for melody, for the divine voice of music. And he explained to me the stylistic traditions of different forms, or what differentiated Ravi Shankar on sitar from Ustad Vilayat Khan on sitar. And I remember to this day because that was my first education in music and nothing to do with my memory. So this is the reason why I say this book is special. Because when I read his book, it brought to me the memories of that particular moment. When he explained to me how he saw different music, what were the differences, the sthirta, the vibrance, all of that, it came out from one single note. So this is what makes this book precious. It also makes it precious for three other reasons. One, as Ambassador Gopinath Pillai said, it is rare for a musician to rise beyond himself and his disciples, to talk about contemporaries, gurus, beyond their own guru. And he's done it with objectivity, compassion, sensitivity, and respect that is so rare in human world today. That's one. The second is, if you look through it, these are icons of our music world, the great soul of Indian music. Almost all of whom have passed away in the last decade and a half. Between 2000 and 2012, I mean, Ravi Shankar ji passed away in 2012, Bhim ji in 2011, Alaka in 2010, Subulakshmi ji in 2004. So these are people, and so therefore you want to cherish what he has to say about them even more, because they're no longer with us. The third reason, which is very important, is because it takes you into the lives and times of the people you only see on stage. And it's a really interesting anecdote that you will come across in each of their lives. You've heard their voice, you've heard their music, you will see them in person through the eyes of someone who's actually played with them, who lived with them, talked with them. But the fourth and most important reason is that you will see the soul of India in the book. The soul of India is the melody. We are a nation of great diversity, of faiths, languages, traditions, cultures. But we are like the seven notes, that come together to blend into a wonderful harmony and melody that defines us as India. When we rise above our individual identities to come together as one nation, as one voice. And nothing really exemplifies this more than the tradition of Hindustani and South and Carnatic music. And this is why, and this message comes through so clearly in that book. So which is why, ladies and gentlemen, I would really commend to you that you must read this book, you must share it with others as well. And finally, I wanted to say, before I conclude, a word about Institute of South Asian Studies and Singapore Indian Association, two institutions that have come together to host this event. Number one is the Institute of South Asian Studies is really an institution like Ustadji that is not bound by script with particular forms and structure. When it wants to study South Asia, it wants to study South Asia in all its dimensions. There is scholarship, but there's also art. There is history, but there's also music now. So if we in Singapore want to experience South Asia and not just read South Asia, it is important to also experience South Asia from all its senses. And music unifies us across our divided territories like nothing else does. So today, whether you are in one part of South Asia or another, you are united by the sound of our classical music, the melody that defines us. And so therefore I compliment the Institute of South Asian Studies for taking up this opportunity and offering Ustadji to us. And Ustadji, this particular, I'm really glad that ISAS has chosen Singapore Indian Association and it's this particular historic venue for the release of the book. There were many who asked us, why are you doing it there and not in some great venue? But I respected the decision because the footfalls of history that binds our two countries together resonates through this building. It is here that you see outside the foundation stone laid by our first Prime Minister. He laid the foundation stone of this building. It is here where we have seen generations of Indians become the heartbeat of our relationship, the living embodiment and the living bond that unites us, not just what we see today in terms of trade and commerce. Those who came when our two countries were independent, and those who have built our two nations into prosperous modern states. So to me, this particular building is a really venerated and a very respected property. And therefore I'm particularly delighted that when we are welcoming Ustadji, a great respecter of tradition, a great embodiment of a timeless tradition of India that we are doing here in this Singapore Indian Association building. And I want to see more and more India-related events being held in this venue. So I'm really happy that everything here has come together into a wonderful confluence. And I do now want to stand between you and the wisdom and the genius of Ustad Amjad Khan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor now to invite the renowned Sarat Maestro, Ustad Amjad Ali Khan, author of the book Master of Masters, to give us an introduction to the book. Ustadji, please. Test, mic testing, test.
We'll get on it. Only problem is to sit next to me.
Namaskar. I feel like saying a few words in Urdu after listening to our High Commissioner, Amjad Sahab. आपकी ज़रा नवाजी का शुक्रिया और नवाजिश है. I am speechless after this speech. But I am very honored first, my family, my wife, we are all Aman and my grandchildren, daughter-in-law, Nima. We're all very honored and happy to be here. And we love Singapore. We always look forward to come to Singapore. And it's a pleasant surprise to see Ambassador of Pakistan, Nasrullah Sahib. Because generally, Ambassador of Pakistan, they don't get into Indian music. But it looks as if it is part of music, whether classical or Bollywood or anything, music is music. Because of the language, we call it Bollywood or Durbar or Khayal or Thundi. But music is, any music is based on these 7 notes, Sa Re Ga Ma Pa Dha Ni. And I'm grateful to Gupta Pillai Sahib for hosting this. And he's such an iconic figure of Singapore. I'm really honored to have met you. Regarding the book, I am grateful to my family because they keep directing me, guiding me, and helping me in every step of my life. So because I haven't done any sadhana of talking or even writing, but I just felt I should share my thoughts about these great musicians who have just passed away. Because of them, our music became so popular, so famous, and so generally in our field, classical music, especially in classical music, we generally write about our guru and our father or mother. We don't want to look beyond that. But thanks to my guru, my parents, they often try to tell me that I must give respect to all the musicians equally, and I must find out their greatness. Why Ravi Shankar became Ravi Shankar, why Vilayat Khan became Vilayat Khan, or Bismillah Khan. So that was my homework, but not only for these musicians, but even the generation of my father, Ustad Fayaz Khan Sahab, Abdul Karim Khan Sahab, Saman Guri Srinivas Iyer, and so many great musicians. So it is just it's a tribute from our family to all these great masters, and we'll always remember them. Aman come. Aman and they had a concert last night in Bangkok, so they today they are coming from the airport only to attend this. And my daughter-in-law Nima Sharma, she's here, and my grandchildren Zohan and Abi, I think they are enjoying outside. It was too much for them to sit quietly. So, few questions I would like to take if you regarding the book or regarding or you can question to my wife or any of us.
Your Excellencies on stage and Khan Sahab. Little while ago, Ashraf Sahab just said that Khan Sahab asked for a seat for me in the front row. And now he didn't say that I have to be on the same row on the stage. But thank you very much for giving me this honor. Before the book, I would like to thank the couple who has brought us to Singapore. Rajesh Ranjanji and his beautiful wife, Reema. He was an agent in Bombay. He contacted me. So from his voice, I felt that I would like to talk to the person concerned. I said, who is the organizer? They said, he's from Singapore and he's there. I said, can I have a word with him? Because I don't like via media people. I like to get in touch directly. So immediately it clicked, and here we are today. I know it's a one-man show with his family, and with the support, what I hear of Our Excellency Ashraf Sahab, he has really helped him and gave him a lot of moral encouragement. I don't remember meeting him, as he has a very crystal clear remembrance of mine. I don't have that, and nobody expects this at this age. But still, I would like to say that Rajeshji was extremely and still is worried. Not for the concert, I think, because of the ambassador Sahab. He said he's so concerned about Khan Sahab, I'm really worried. So I hope Khan Sahab should be able to take it on and make both the people happy. Well, regarding, I have not written the book, but I have seen whenever there's a closed door, I know something is happening and Khan Sahab is writing or thinking or composing his music. But I must admit, where Aman, my older son, and I did not contribute to the book at all, except for the arguments to make him better. My younger son, Ayan, who really stood by him and gave him a lot of support and lot of anecdotes that he reminded him, which he has seen from my diaries. I'm a meticulous person, so I write, and he has collected all that and helped Khan Sahab a great deal. So I have to tell my son, Ayan has done a lot in this book also. And Khan Sahab, regarding, they are the 8th generation going to be, but I hope they really are able to cope up. Khan Sahab, Your Excellency, Ambassador, Khan Sahab was the first Indian artist to go to Pakistan in 1980 after 25 years of cultural silence. And we also had the honor. I would like to share one thing about, because he has said so much about Khan Sahab. These are the small things. Music to sun hi lete hain. You all listen to the music. But there are a lot of things one wants to know what goes on behind the screen. So I thought I will entertain you by telling you those things. That we were in Bonn together. I don't remember the year. We had seen the Beethoven's house. And we said in India we don't have any house of a musician which is a museum or kept so well. So Khan Sahab has his 300-year-old ancestral house in Gwalior in Madhya Pradesh. He said, I will make this house as a museum of music and heritage. So for the last few decades we have been having that, and we had the honor. He also said, my parents taught me to honor the elders and encourage the young musicians. So he has established an award in the name of his great father, Ustad Hafiz Ali Khan Award, in 1977. It started with the needy musicians, and later on we continue honoring artists in Gwalior, and we rotated in Calcutta, Delhi, Bombay, Hyderabad, all over. And we had the honor of honoring Ustad Salamat Ali Khan Sahab from Pakistan, then Begum Farida Khanum, and all these artists, Mehdi Hassan also. He came, but we had the honor of honoring these two people, yes. So that is what Khan Sahab's feelings are, giving respect to not only his gharana, his music. He has never stopped Aman and Ayan from listening to other gharana or other artists. Otherwise, usually a gharana person says that you only listen to your own family's music. But he had kept an open mind, and they were free to do whatever they wanted. Get the best out of everybody. That was the aim of Khan Sahab. And मैं क्या कहूँ? As a wife, I see all the bad and the good points. And when I am angry or upset with him, I must share with all the beautiful ladies here that I said, I wish I had bought a 100-rupee ticket, sat on the front row, listened to you, and that's it. I've not had to do all the things as a wife I have to do. So I need to tell him that. I think he would amazing to me. And Ambassador Pillai, how beautifully you spoke. I mean, it is really, both of you looked as if it was a mutual admiration campaign today. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ustadji has kindly consented to take some questions. If you'd like to share comments or questions with him, please do so. We have people with the mics around.
My name is Himanshu Verma. I run a media company called Connected to India. First of all, I feel very inadequate to give you a compliment, but I must say thank you for your music. I've been listening to your music for many years. I'm from Delhi, been living in Singapore for the last 12 years. Thanks for your soch. Thanks for everything you've done for the music. Thank you very much, sir. Coming to my question, I've been watching a lot of documentaries also on you, and I refer to a documentary which was made by Gulzar Saab in 1990, where this was outside the Mazar of Mia Tansen, where you had said that आजकल के टाइम पे Indian classical music के लिए ये टाइम मौजूद नहीं है. 27 years passed. There is a lot of excitement around Indian classical music, not only in India but across the world. What do you think now on the same statement? How would you respond as things become better? Thank you.
Thank you very much for listening to my music and following my way of life. Tansen, Mia Tansen was the co-musician of Emperor Akbar, and he's known, he's almost worshipped like all the classical musicians of India, because his music had some spiritual power. Sometime in the evening when he sang, the lamps were lit up. And with his music, it rained also many times. And that is why we have ragas like Malhar, Megh Malhar, Miya Ki Malhar. So the word Miya is connected with Tansen. And fortunately, he was born in Gwalior. His grave is in Gwalior. But the samadhi or the grave or mazar is not well maintained. The way my wife said, the way Shakespeare is preserved, we could not preserve Mirza Ghalib. The way Beethoven is preserved, we could not preserve musicians of India and their house. Yes, politicians, wherever they die, that house becomes memorial. So that is, that's also history of our country. But the creative people, the musicians, they should be given proper respect. So Tansen time was different, and classical music became popular and respected at the time of Akbar. But when Aurangzeb came, so the situation was different. Music was not encouraged, music was looked down upon. But you see, television, once we had only one channel and the whole nation used to watch. When I visited Pakistan, Ziaul Haq Sahab ka time tha. So somebody took interview, and to take that interview also, there was so much hierarchy, and so I was very careful giving the interview in Pakistan. But that was about 1 hour interview. And then when I came back, I used to ask somebody that have they shown my interview or not. So months passed by, and after nearly 6 months, I met the Pakistani ambassador in India. I said, sir, if you didn't want to show my interview, why did you waste my time? So then he immediately sent message, and then one day that interview was shown, and at that time only people of Amritsar could see Pakistan, not the people in Delhi. So that was telecast. So classical music suffered after television. Now we have 500 channels, and it is the traditional art has suffered. But still, people who love the musicians, if they love the art, even now they come. Carnegie Hall in America, it is sold out, and sometime Opera House of Australia is sold out. So it is a very competitive, very sensitive situation today. But fortunately, in the generation of Aman and Ayal, there are many talented musicians in South India and North India both. So there is no problem about future of classical music. But music, the classical music became popular because of certain names in my books, what I mentioned. So if you love the musician, if you like the musician, then only you listen to the musician, because there are 10,000 classical musicians in the north and south. But people are choosy, and that's very natural also. So historically, people were choosy even now, and we have to be choosy in our life. So I would like some other question for me or any of us sitting on the stage.
Yes, yes, thank you.
Jonathan at the back. The gentleman at the back.
Ustad, always a pleasure to have listened to you and now to see you here in person. I've been a great fan of yours through the years. I hope to take pleasure reading what you have to say. Coming to my question today, one of the founding stones of Indian classical music has been this Guru Shishya Parampara, where Shishya lives with the Guru for long years, and over the years, the talent, the skill matures, and you develop the ability to interpret the music of the Gharana. Where do you see in today's time compressed days, so much things happening and so many different avenues for music, where do you see this going, and how do you think that future talent in this would mature? Would you see that coming by some other ways, or are there any ways by which this tradition is going to be maintained?
Guru Shishya Parampara is a very historical, very sacred word. But values have changed. In those days, the Guru was considered like an institution. The chelas, the shishya, the shagird, disciples used to live around the Guru. And also they used to serve the Guru like a domestic help. So that kind of surrenderness has died out, or it has gone already. And from the time institutions came, a cemented block, a cemented building, now is called institution. So there is a change of thoughts, change of values. Now students pay the fee to learn, and the teachers are also getting salaries to teach. So the whole system is different now. But this is the way you can share in a lot of numbers. So we are a lack of dedication and surrenderness, and also we don't have the kind of gurus we had in our history. But still we have talented people in our country all over the world. So now our life is around the institutions all over the world. I think if you can have some question for Aman or Ayal, they can also answer.
Their generational perspective.
We'll take the last question before the book launch. The gentleman over there, please. Thank you.
So far we know that both of the Gharana, Alauddin Khan Gharana and Hafiz Ali Khan Gharana came from the same Gharana, Sani Gharana. So why not both of the Sarudis not in under one umbrella? Why scattered like Hafiz Ali Khan Gharana, Alauddin Khan Gharana? And who was the guru name of Ustad Hafiz Ali Khan Sahab and Baba Alauddin Khan Sahab? I want to know.
I think you will have to come to Delhi. You will sit with me and I will explain you with my sarod. But they were both, they respected each other and they were guru bhais. They were not gharanas, they belonged to the same gharana of Tansir. And it was called Senia Binkar Gharana. Their approach was different. So, but the outside world, they thought they were rivals of each other. It's not like that. They had great regards. They were great. Alauddin Khan Sahib was like my father, my guru, and my father, so they were contemporaries. So there's no problem. It's the same gharana, we are under one umbrella. Any question for Amjad and Ayan, please?
I think young
Gentlemen would like to have the Q&A during the interactive session, the extraordinary reception. This is more personal. You have one-to-one session with them. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, I would like to thank Mr. G for such a great interaction with the audience. And now we'd like to launch the book. And thank you, dignitaries, as well. Can we have all of you on stage for the launch of the book, please? Yeah. We launch it, sir.
I think Ambassador has a question.
Oh, sure. Okay. Ambassador, His Excellency has a question for...
Which is the difference between a father and a guru. No, it's a serious question.
Sir, actually, it's a very complicated question. I'm still trying to find the answer. Because it's a beautiful, complex relationship. It's not complex, but it's a beautiful, complex relationship. And thanks to my mother, that she would explain the expectation of both sides. Most of the time, disciples and sons have issues with their fathers, as you see in movies and in books and all that. It's because there's no mediator to explain the emotions. Because the father wants the best, like he wants his son to maybe be the most successful, a nice human being. But then the guru wants him not to be the most popular musician, but to be a fine musician. So there are differences. So I think there have been times when it's confusing for him and for us not to understand why. There's a big question why. Always.
Thank you. Mr. G and dignitaries, can we just raise for a while so that we can remove the chairs and do the book launch? Just 1 minute, sir. Be on stage, please. Thank you, sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, the launch of the book will be signified by the unveiling of the book. Your Excellency, Mr. G, please. To the High Commission, to both the High Commissions. We have both two excellencies on stage, as well as to Ambassador Pillai.
Guys, move forward. Guys, move forward. Move forward.
Present you the copy of the book, the High Commission of India and the High Commission of Pakistan. and one for the Excellency Ambassador for National. Ambassador Lal. So can we have a group photograph, please, with all of you? Thank you very much. And the sons and the family too, please join us on stage. Thank you very much.
Don't forget the little ones.
Thank you, Sujit. Thank you, dignitaries. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, while our dignitaries take their seat, it's a pleasure now to announce that today's ISAS book launch and Master on Masters is supported by S&R Dance and Events Company, led by Mr. and Mrs. Rajesh Rajan. And we're also pleased to announce that the sale of the books is held at the back of this room, and we're delighted to share that Master G has graciously agreed to sign copies of the book. And in addition to that, every purchase of a copy of the book is entitled to a discounted ticket to Master G's live concert tomorrow. And on that note, we also like to remind you not to miss Master's live concert tomorrow at 7 p.m. at the Shine Auditorium at Beach Road. We've now come to the end of today's book launch, and please join us for a tea reception outside this foyer. And you can mingle with